Hey everyone, back again. This time I want to talk about Ridley Scott's newest movie, All the Money in the World. Now, this is a really interesting movie because Ridley Scott, for a while, has not had amazing movies. He's had fine ones and bad ones, but he hasn't had one that's been flat out really good in a while. Like, I enjoyed Alien Covenant. I know a lot of people didn't, but I enjoyed that movie and thought it was fun and thought it was really a close, like not like as grand and amazing as Alien or Aliens, but I thought it was that and Prometheus were definitely the best sequels and definitely the ones that are closest to the first two movies in my head. But Ridley Scott recently has not done anything that people have universally pretty much loved, or it's usually something they hate or don't like. Alien Covenant, for example. But the thing that is interesting about this movie is that, like, even when Ridley Scott doesn't have a good movie, like it still has some merits to it. But I like how this is the classic Ridley Scott. Like, this is the Thelma and Louise. This is the Blade Runner. This is a movie where everything is really, really top notch. It tries to be not just a fun popcorn movie or a fun or an entertaining movie. Like, this one is one that's really just really, really good. I thought that in terms of acting and in terms of directing, this was really, really some of the best I've seen all year. Um, the movie itself just feels very, very competently made. It's very well done. The way that it's edited, the acting, the direction, the visuals, how everything is dreary in moments where it needs to be, but also there's a light color change where it's something that's either happy or it's in the past. And I really like whenever directors do that, where the story can be visually told, even though there's dialogue, but the story can be visually told, but like you can see with the background or just how it looks on the screen, you can tell how a character's feeling or what situation they're in. Like, for example, with John Paul Getty III, the story is about him getting kidnapped, and the kidnappers want John Paul Getty, the billionaire, to pay the ransom for this, and Gail doesn't have the money, the mother of John Paul Getty III. But whenever John Paul Getty III is abducted and like being tortured, it's very dark and very dreary. But whenever it focuses on past moments, like before the events in this movie, it's more colorful and more light. And then with John Paul Getty Sr. himself, the movie looks very not dreary like whenever the grandson is kidnapped, but it looks visually close in which it looks dire, like the way that this character is a rich billionaire, but he's never happy. And I liked how Ridley Scott made it look like you can look on the screen and see how a character's feeling, even if there's no dialogue. And whenever there is, it's fine. But I like how, with his scenes alone, like it works really well showing how John Paul Getty Sr. is not happy. And I love how he really looks like you can just tell visually like how he feels. And I think that that's really cool. I like that it changes the hues every with all these characters. And I loved the performances. I thought that Michelle Williams was really, really good. And she last year she was in Manchester by the Sea. Not much. She wasn't in the movie like a whole movie, but whenever she was in it, she was really, really good and really fantastic. And then in this, I feel the exact same way. I think that she, like, you really care so much about her in this movie, and with good purpose too, because it's her son, John Paul Getty III, who gets abducted, and her and her husband are divorced, and she has no money, and she needs to get John Paul Getty Sr. to pay off the ransom, but John Paul Getty is an unhappy asshole, and I liked how you see her struggle, and it works so well with Michelle Williams as an actress. Like, she really works in this movie because, like, there's something about her. Like, you feel so bad about this character, but her performance makes it all the more tragic just because she's such a great actress. I think that that's really cool whenever an actress or an actor can do that, where they can make it more. You can feel more because of this character and how you just how they play the role. It really works. Really, it works so well with her performance. And Christopher Plummer is really great too. I thought he did a really good job. Um, and I'm gonna mention, what like we had trailers before about how Kevin Spacey was John Paul Getty Sr. But all that stuff happened with Kevin Spacey, and now he everything has come out about him. He's a piece of shit, and I like that it literally only took 8 or 9 days and like $1 million or something, and Ridley Scott made that crazy decision and took him out of the movie completely, and put in Christopher Plummer. But even though this is not like I'm not saying that Kevin Spacey is a good person at all. I don't. I think he's a good actor, but his life now, realizing his personal life and how horrible he is, I can't stand him as a human being now. It's kind of like Mel Gibson. Like I just can't stand how these actors are fantastic actors, but I can't stand how they're like in real life. They do horrible things. And it's sad to see that Kevin Spacey is one of them now. And I'm really honestly curious to see what his performance would have been in this movie. But also, to be fair, Christopher Plummer is the age appropriate age for this character, so it was kind of off-putting before we knew about Kevin Spacey and all the stuff that came out about him, because whenever we got the trailers for this with Kevin Spacey in the actual trailers before the movie came out, so Kevin Spacey did look weird in the movie just because he's not an old man. He just has old man makeup on, so it's kind of weird. And Christopher Plummer is age appropriate, so regardless of what you think about Kevin Spacey, I think that it was actually a smart move that Ridley Scott did switch out this character or this actor to put another actor in. It was age appropriate and who is more believable. Even though, like I said, despite Kevin Spacey's personal life, I think he's a great actor, or was a great actor. I don't know if he's going to get any work anywhere now because of what he's done. Just like Harvey Weinstein, they're not going to get any work. Hopefully not. I feel like that's perfectly a great reason not to get work because of all the shit they did. But I think that Christopher Plummer is really good in the movie. He is. I liked him a lot. I thought that he does play this character really dickish, but he's got some moments in the movie too, like whenever they do flashbacks with John Paul Getty III, and him. It's cool how sincere they feel together, like him as a kid and senior John Paul Getty, and how they have a connection. And I like how as the movie goes on in the current time in the movie, where Gail, Michelle Williams' character, is trying to convince John Paul Getty Sr. to pay the ransom, and then you've seen the scenes in the past of how both John Paul Gettys liked each other, and I think that it stinks that we don't that we it's cool that we get these characters that are, I guess, despicable, you could say, with John Paul Getty Sr. and John Paul Getty III, who's helpless. But I like how you get some past with them, and you see them liking each other, and you really wonder why John Paul Getty Sr. just won't do this. And he has reasons, but they're horrible reasons. And I think that it doesn't... As a movie, it's great, but as a person, it's just like, man, you are horrible. I really don't like how you are perceiving your family as nothing but... worth nothing besides money. Like, it's not... Like, he was getting more into the idea of saving his grandson if it involved money, and I think that is horrible, but I like how this character is so despicable, and I feel like this is probably really accurate to what happened, but I think that is really good. It's a really good movie because of that, because of these characters, and because of the acting, and like I said, the cinematography and the visuals just... and the color hues, like you can tell how a character's feeling based on the color of this movie at the moment, and I think that's really cool. And I think that It's intense. It's got whenever John Paul Getty III is kidnapped, and you have moments of him being kidnapped and having being tortured. It is sad and intense, and I liked how much of a struggle that shows with how much of an asshole John Paul Getty Sr. is, and how he is not letting up and not saving his grandson. So I think that that's cool that we get such a despicable character, but Christopher Plummer does a great job, and as does Michelle Williams, and as does Charlie Plummer. Is he related to Christopher Plummer? Maybe he's actually his godson or grandson. And Mark Wahlberg, I haven't even mentioned him. He's really good too as Chance. He's good. He's the weak link in the movie in which he does a great performance, but I mean his character itself is not something that to me was the gripping part of the movie. He was the one that helped Gale out, and I like that, but he's not one that has the dramatic moments like Michelle Williams or like Christopher Plummer or Charlie Plummer. Like he does a great job in this movie. Mark Wahlberg does. He's just not the character that has the emotional upheaval in the movie. He's not one that is like he's just the one that helps. But his performance is great though. I think he is great in this movie. So, but performances are all around are fantastic, and the story is fantastic, and the characters are great, and I just love the how everything works so well as a film. And Ridley Scott is a fantastic director. Even whenever he has bad stuff, there's still some merits to them. Not always, but most of the time there's merits to his bad movies. But I like that we got this Ridley Scott back again. And even though I enjoyed Alien Covenant, this is fantastic. This is a great movie. And I'm so glad that I saw it, and I'm so glad that they still made it and finished it, despite the fact with Kevin Spacey and the everything that came out about him. So I'm glad that this is a good accomplishment. This actually still made it to theaters, and people hopefully are more keen to see it because Kevin Spacey's out of it. So we'll see what happens though, but I don't know. But I really hope that it does well. I just don't know if it will because of that everything that happened. But he's out of the movie, so it's fine. Just even if just whatever, just he's out of the movie. Christopher Plummer replaced him, so enjoy this movie for what it is. And I think it is a fantastic movie, and it's definitely one of the best I saw all year, and I hope that it gets award recognition, especially from Michelle Williams and Christopher Plummer. Like it is top notch, Ridley Scott. Thanks guys so much for watching. Hopefully this wins some Oscars. But we'll see though. I hope that it does. I hope that we get praise for this. Critics are liking it, so I don't know. But thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.